I'm Professor Whipple, and it is January 4th, 2015. I am recording this lecture standing on a frozen lake in the middle of my home village of Hooper Bay, Alaska. And just to give you kind of a panoramic view of my village, this right here is teacher housing, where I live as I work as a special education teacher and a school psychologist. And over here is the school. One of the most frequent questions students ask me is, how much daylight do we get out here? And at this time of year, we have about 6.5 hours of daylight. Also, the weather, it's currently about 5 degrees. So I'm going to get inside and start the PowerPoint presentation. It goes over the syllabus and course requirements for you to complete the capstone portfolio.
Okay, now I'm out of the cold and in my classroom. I want to once again welcome you to the NCRP Portfolio Capstone course. I want to commend you on your long journey through many courses to get this far. Throughout this process, you have become experts in the theories, best practices, research, and processes of NCRP. You will soon have an MA degree in hand and the knowledge to transform the world. To give you a bit of history about the NCRP capstone class, our program initially started as a master's degree in behavioral science with an emphasis in negotiation and conflict management in 1989. When I entered the program as a student in 1993, the program focused more on behavioral science research methods and less on negotiation and conflict management. Our capstone projects were completed by a group. The project involved a literature review, focus groups, phone interviews, surveys, and observation of people learning with two-way interactive video. In the late 1990s, the online program changed its capstone from a project to a comprehensive exam. Over the years we did the comp exam, many students provided feedback that they wanted to have something more individualized and meaningful than a comprehensive exam. It was also difficult to provide academic freedom for our diverse group of adjunct faculty and have them focus their lectures towards the content of the comprehensive exam. In 2006, Dr. Marco Turk asked me to work with him in developing and teaching a capstone course with a portfolio. There have been several variations on the portfolio. One of them, this version, which has the literature review, satisfactory solution, and future program. Another variation included artifacts. We have tested this process and received feedback throughout the years to make this portfolio process a meaningful capstone for all students. The syllabus and portfolio guide contain everything you need to create your portfolio. All of my lectures follow the instructions in the portfolio guide. Grading rubrics are provided for each chapter of the portfolio. You must meet the grading rubric criteria to receive credit for the portfolio. The portfolio shall be a standalone, culminating experience involving, first, an extensive written program review of the highlights you learned in each of the required courses, plus at least one elective course representing your interest. Second, an extensive written presentation of a detailed question addressing an important issue in the field. Third, an extensive written review of the literature in the field dealing with that question. Fourth, an extensive written discussion concerning how the literature provides a satisfactory solution to the detailed questions and the importance of these results. And fifth, a thoughtful, extensive written outline of a future program detailing how you may continue to develop and apply all of your knowledge in the field. Two additional documents that are not part of the portfolio are the portfolio reference and abstract. These are evolving documents. I use these when students call me with questions, when I cite portfolios, and when students request letters of recommendation. You should begin working on the drafts of your reference and abstract when you develop your detailed question. You may update the reference and abstract until the end of the course when you defend your research. The two required textbooks for the course are the Publication Manual of the American Psychological Association, also referred to APA for short, and the Handbook of Conflict Resolution. You need to have the APA easily accessible when you are writing the portfolio. I use the Kindle version and I copy comments from the Kindle screen and paste them as balloon comments on your Word document for your quick reference when making corrections. The current edition of the Handbook of Conflict Resolution, which is the third edition, is available through eBrary on the CSU DH Library website. I have assigned weekly readings and expect you to cite the handbook in your literature review and satisfactory solution. The Handbook of Conflict Resolution should be the most frequently cited reference in your portfolio because it has the resources for you to comprehensively understand conflict and the conflict resolution processes. The handbook provides a common language and vocabulary for us to discuss concepts. It connects theories with empirical research that may be correlated with detailed questions dealing with a great breadth of conflicts. I will be asking several questions from the Handbook of Conflict Resolution during your oral defense. One of the questions may be, what reference do you cite most frequently and why? The correct response would be the Handbook of Conflict Resolution. All of the due dates from January 16th, 2015 until March 6th, 2015 are for you to submit the sections for my feedback. This feedback is to let you know you are on the correct track and what you will need to improve on. I will download the assignments on Friday evenings and provide feedback over the weekend. I will still provide feedback for sections you submit late. However, the feedback will come the following weekend. I will send the feedback to your email. I will mostly look at the content and organization of your program reviews and literature review. I will be checking your citations by searching for them in your reference section, running a variety of electronic grammar checkers, and using rubrics to determine whether your Work is credit or no credit. Do not submit first drafts of materials that need line-by-line editing. I will reject any submission that does not have sound grammar, usage, and mechanics of standard American English. The final portfolio must be submitted before March 13, 2015 at midnight. Please let me know if you can't meet this final deadline. The majority of the course time will be spent actively participating in the peer editing process. I will provide few lectures. The instructions are in the portfolio guide. I have previously recorded the guide in lectures, and students have let me know they would rather just read it for themselves. I have provided a portfolio guide that contains rubrics for each section of the portfolio and a checklist of what I will be looking for in the final portfolio. You should compare the portfolio section with the rubric. The participation schedule suggests dates for groups to be reviewing portfolio sections. From my experience, the students who successfully complete the portfolio write and revise every day, follow a timeline, and constantly give peer feedback. Each student needs to write or revise 2 to 3 pages per day and proofread about 5 pages a day to get through this process. In the 15 years I have taught this course, approximately 80% have completed their capstone on time. The 20% who don't complete the process are the students who procrastinate, don't participate in the peer review process, and then submit mediocre work at the end of the term. This is not an independent studies course, and every student is expected to participate in the peer review process. I will be observing the interactions and feedback in the group as a guide on the side, and I will rarely intervene. It is the group's responsibility to motivate every member to follow the timeline and provide positive and meaningful feedback. Once again, welcome to NCR 591, and I look forward to watching the evolution of your portfolio and reading your introductions on the discussion board.